Burnett.
Here.
Milton.
Here.
Pauls.
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
Festerson.
Here.
Mr. President.
Here. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this meeting of the Omaha City Council. We thank you for joining us today. As a courtesy to those in attendance, we ask you to please turn off or silence your phones at this time. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation by Council Member Rich Pauls of District 5.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What I'd like to have you do is just look at the person next to you and give them a smile. This is not church, so you don't have to go around and shake their hand.
This is not church.
My intent is basically most of the time when we smile, we're sending a positive message. And I think in this day and age, we need a lot of that being sent out. So once we leave here, it's like that little act of kindness. It does not have a logical end. It will keep extending itself if we keep promoting that. So I hope you all have a good day. I tell you, you're a much better looking group when I see you smiling. Thank you.
City Clerk certified publication on the Daily Record, the official newspaper on October 21st. Notes for Revere Council on regular City Council meeting October 25th, 2016. The current copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in a white binder on the east wall of the legislative chambers. Are you ready, Mr. President?
Let's begin.
Okay. Pursuant to City Council Rule 70, agenda item number 5 shall be laid over 2 weeks for publication and public hearing. Liquor, item number 6. The same old bar, 1008 Bancroft Street, Class C liquor license application, old location.
The public hearing on item number 6 begins at this time. Are there any proponents?
Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the council. My name is Sean Kelly, 7134 Pacific Street, appearing on behalf of the applicant today. This is on 10th and Bancroft, approximately 3,500 square feet. The prior owner had a license since 2007, and no violations that I could find. With that, be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any other proponents? Any opponents on item number 6? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed.
Second.
Roll call.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Milton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
6 is adopted 6-0. Item number 7. Growling Moose, DBA Growlers USA, 16268 Evans Plaza, Class C liquor license with a Growlers endorsement. New application, new location. You have communications from the applicant requesting to amend the application to remove the outdoor area.
Public hearing on item number 7 begins at this time.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's also 8's a catering license for the same applicant in the same location, and you need the same amendment on that.
All right, we'll take the public hearings at the same time then.
Yep.
The proponents for item number 7 and 8.
Hi, I'm Tim O'Neill, and I'm from Lincoln, 800 121 South 13th Street, Lincoln, Nebraska. Represent the applicant. New business, going to be employing approximately 17 new employees in the community, and I think it'll be a nice addition to the city. Any questions?
With a name like that, do you have anything else you want to share about the Growling Moose?
Well, it's a microbrewery. It's not a microbrewery. It's a pub that serves over 100 different microbrew beers and wines and specialties, and kind of a unique bar restaurant, and we'll add a musical element to it, and it'll be a nice addition to the city.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents on items 7 and 8? Any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Of the amendment?
Yeah.
This is on 7.
Second. You're seconding
the
removal of the outdoor area.
Right.
Right. Roll call.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Milton.
Yes.
Pauls. Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
As amended.
Second.
Roll call.
Gurnett? Milton? Pauls? Thompson? Festerson? Mr. President?
Yes.
7 is passed as amended, 6-0. Now we need 8.
Motion to amend number 8, to remove the outdoor area.
Roll call.
Gurnett? Milton? Pauls? Thompson? Festerson?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
As amended.
Second, roll call.
Gurnett? Milton? Pauls? Thompson? Festerson?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
8 is adopted
you.
as amended, 6-0. Item number 9, Mr. Butts Tobacco and Snacks, 5702 South 36th Street, Class C liquor license. New application, old location is an upgrade.
Public hearing on item number 9 begins at this time. Are there any proponents?
Kevin Twark, 5849 South 48th Street, Omaha, Nebraska.
Thank you. Any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Mr. Gurnett.
Kevin,
Yes.
got caught a number of years back when we had this first tasting thing. Describe what tasting is going to be like at this location.
Well, with this location, what we're going to do is probably have a couple times, probably for the week, we're hoping. Like Wednesday and Thursday would be like 4 hours only. And either me or one of my employees or from a rep, like a sales rep or something like that from the company, will bring somebody in and we'll sample like certain liquors and wines and spirits and stuff.
Okay. And this is a couple of times a week that you're
I'm
anticipating?
hoping two times a week, like maybe on Wednesday, Thursday from like 4:30 to 6:30 when people actually, get off of work and to try a sample of something. And usually the vendors will give me a bottle or something to actually do it, but we'll make sure we take care of it.
To me, tasting, I walk into a place, patronize a place, me a bottle of so-and-so, and I'm going to taste the whole thing.
It wouldn't happen there because it's pretty much we do like little sample glasses. They're going to be plastic. And we'll throw them away. We'll make sure that don't happen. So some of the other places do that. Super Mikado, they do it right up the street. So we're just, trying to compete. We're small, but it's kind of nice. Sales will be a lot better too for the city because, sales tax will actually grow a little bit more. When people try something new, they usually buy. So.
If it was suggested to limit the number of times that you do this a month, what's your thoughts?
That'd be fine. I could do that. How many times would you like?
The number 8,
That'd be perfect. That'd be perfect for me.
would that be fine?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm looking at. Maybe 8 times a month, maybe. That's all I'm looking for.
A maximum of 8.
Maximum 8. That'd be perfect.
Mr. Clerk, we have to do that in the form of an amendment?
I don't think you'd have to amend it, but you could
Or
do it
make it a condition of-
condition of their approval is that they only do it maximum of 8 times a month.
I would make that a motion to approve with the condition that the tasting events be limited to 8 times per month.
Is that no more than 8 per month?
In other words, if you only do 4 one month, you can't do 12 the next month.
Exactly. I know. Yeah.
Okay.
I understand.
I'm trying to avoid some of those phone calls that I was subjected to a while back and not leave a negative taste in your guys' mouth either, okay?
I've been in the
I don't
business for
wanna do
15
that.
years, so you know me. How I do
I've known
everything.
you for years.
Yes.
Is there a second?
No further lights. Roll call.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Milton?
Yes.
Pauls?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Thank you.
9 is approved with conditions, 6-0. Item number 10, Tadura Fusion Indian Restaurant, 2537 South 174th Plaza, Class I liquor license, application, no location.
Public hearing on item number 10 begins at this time. Are there any proponents?
Good afternoon. My name is Srinivas Namagadda. I'm a resident of 12812 Bird Street, Omaha, Nebraska. We own Flavors Indian restaurant around in the downtown area, and we recently took over Tandoori Fusion Indian restaurant in the west side of the town, which is an existing establishment with the liquor license. We would like to have our license for the new location.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Move the approval. Second.
Roll call.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Milton? Pauls?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Mr. Kirk, was this one we also need to remove outdoor? I think I did note to be.
No.
Not that one, the next one.
Okay, then yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
10 is adopted, 6-0. Item number 11, Golden Mountain Restaurant, 6750 Mercy Road, Suite 102B, Class I liquor license, new application, new location. There is a request by the applicant to remove the outdoor area.
Public hearing on item number 11 begins at this time. Are there any proponents?
My name is Jenny Fong. I am representing Gold Mountain as manager, resident of 4238 North 163rd Avenue, Omaha, Nebraska.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Amend it, yeah, amend, please.
To remove the outdoor area? Second. No lights. Roll call.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Milton? Pauls? Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Second.
Roll call.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Milton? Pauls?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
11 is approved as amended, 6-0. Item number 12, Victor's Mexican Restaurant, 3223 Q Street, Class I liquor license, new application, new location.
Public hearing on item number 12 begins at this time. We would note that we don't need to amend the outdoor area on this
Yeah,
one.
we don't have an outdoor area.
Okay.
No, just for the
Proponents,
indoor.
please.
My name is Lydia Rivas, and I'm here for Victor's Mexican Restaurant. We are seeking for the LCC liquor license. We've been open for like 5 years, and a lot of people have asked, for like a beer to accompany their meal, and we thought we'd give it a try.
Thank you. Any other proponents? Do you want to say your name?
My name is Victor Rodriguez, and I'm coming with Lydia for the get a license, liquor license.
Thank you. You're at 3223Q?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Up in the back.
Oh, is there somebody wishing to come down as an opponent? Okay, so if the applicants could just stand to the side and let this
Sure.
person come down. Tell us your name and address and the basis for your opposition.
My name is Crystal Frazier. I live at 5314 South 32nd Street. I have a letter I'd like to submit as an opposed.
You can hand that to the clerk's staff here. And if there's anything you want to summarize from your letter while you're up here, that might be best, because we won't have a time to read this.
Inadequate parking.
Okay? Thank you. Does a proponent wish any rebuttal to address whether you have enough parking? Well, come back to the mic. Just tell us your name again, and
My
then...
name is Lydia Rivas, and yes, we are working on the parking lot of it. Actually, I think we're going to tear up the whole behind or half of it so we can have extra parking for the place.
Thank you. I'm going to close the public hearing. There's council member with questions, so you might want to just stick right there. Public hearing is closed.
Go back to the mic.
Go back to
Thank you, Mr. President. Step back over to the mic.
Sure.
Not knowing there was going to be some 11th hour opposition, could you briefly describe the building that you're currently in so we have a better picture on where you're going to place this parking?
Oh, well, actually, it has a parking lot, like, towards the back half, but there is no entrance to it. So we're going to try to fix that, too, because the people that come in there, they just park on the side of the street, on the side wall, yeah, on both sides. But there is a parking lot in the back half that we're going to be fixing or parking for people to park in there.
You're right on the corner, aren't you?
Right, on 3223 on Q Street.
If I remember, that was on the southeast corner of 33rd and Q.
Yeah, it's right on by the light.
Okay. Now, all right. Now I have a picture.
A better view
So
of
you're-
where we're at.
Okay. Now, currently, you have on-street parking.
Correct.
And did I hear you correctly saying that you were going to try to acquire a
Right, the
different
back
initial
half.
parking
It's
or property?
it's like the back half of the building.
Okay.
There is, like there has to be an entrance to it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No
Motion
lights?
to approve.
Okay. Roll call.
They'll be watching.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine. I mean, we should be under construction. They're here in a
Okay.
couple of 2-3
That's fine.
days.
That's fine.
Okay, Mr. Thompson is out of the chambers. Gurnett.
Yes.
Milton.
Yes.
Pauls.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
12 is adopted, 5-0.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Item number 13 is Tobacco Hut number 19 at 6206 Ames Avenue. Package liquor license and application, new location that does not conform to Rule 7. And I believe we're going to have a request to lay this over 1 week.
Motion to lay over 1 week, continue public hearing.
I would add that if there's anybody who came here today that wishes to be heard on this item, you still may be heard today, either as a proponent or opponent. But if you testify here today, you won't testify when this comes back.
Thank you.
Seeing none, roll call.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Milton. Pauls. Thompson. Festerson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
13 is laid over 1 week. Public hearings continued. Item number 14, Flagship Commons West Road Mall, 10,000 California Street, catering liquor license and application, no location. They have a Class I.
Public hearing on item number 14 begins at this time. Are there any proponents?
Good afternoon. Sean Kelly, 7134 Pacific Street, here for any questions.
Any other proponents wishing to be heard? Any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Mr. Festerson.
Thanks, Mr. President. Mr. Kelly, just a question. So catering license to cater on-site for parties or off-site or both? Or
Really just off-site. Given the variety of different food that Flagship Commons offers, the catering makes sense for having that entity cater different events outside the premise. Yeah.
That's great. I think that's a positive step, too. And I was just there last week for the opening of the Container Store, and Jim Sadler was there and told me how well the Commons is doing, so please pass on to your clients that I'm glad it's going well, and they've been a great addition there, as well as the new excitement about the Container Store, which was lines out the door, I think, all weekend.
Yeah, it's amazing.
All right.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
No lights. Roll call.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Milton. Pauls. Yes. Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes. 14
is adopted 6-0. Item number 15, Red Robin Americans Gourmet Burgers and Spirits, 2627 South 180th Street. Request permission to appoint Richard Bungie, manager. We have a request from the applicant to allow withdrawal of this application.
Roll call.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Milton. Pauls. Thompson. Festerson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
15 is withdrawn. 6-0. Consent agenda. Any member of City Council may cause an item placed on the consent agenda to be removed. Items removed consent agenda shall be taken up by City Council meeting following the consent agenda in the order in which they were removed, as otherwise provided by City Council rules of order.
The public hearings on agenda item numbers 16 through 21 were held October 18, 2016.
Motion to approve.
Roll call.
Gurnett.
Yes.
Milton. Pauls. Thompson.
Yes.
Festerson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
16 through 21 are passed 6-0.
The Public hearings on agenda items number 22 through 41 are today. If you wish to address the City Council regarding these items, please come to the microphone, indicate the agenda item number you wish to address, identify yourself by name, address, who you represent, and if you are a proponent or opponent. Public hearing is closed. Second. Roll call.
Gurnett? Milton? Pauls? Thompson? Festerson? Mr. President?
Yes.
22 through 41 are adopted 7-0. Pursuant to City Council Rule 7H, due to no meeting being held November 15th, agenda item number 42 shall be laid over 4 weeks to November 22nd for publication and public hearing. Pursuant to City Council Rule 7D, the public hearing agenda items 43 through 56 shall be held on the third reading. Ordinance is on second reading. Item number 57, ordinance to approve a contract between the city and Millard Public Schools for the city to provide 4 associate school resource officers, 1 K-9 associate school resource officer, and marked police cruisers, subject to the availability of such cruisers and to the school district's needs.
The public hearing on item number 57 begins at this time. Are there any proponents?
Good afternoon, Captain Michael McGee, Omaha Police Department, representing support for number 57.
Thank you. Are there any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing is closed. Mr. Pauls.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate you coming down. I just have a couple questions. Basically, I'm sort of going to put all 4 of them together. The questions will be sort of a general type. I do truly support having the police in the schools. I value that, and I have friends who are administrators who do see the value of that, of seeing police basically in a positive role. I just have a couple of questions. Like I say, this would involve all of the schools. Would I like to know the total number of full-time police officers in all of the schools that are involved with the Omaha Police Department?
Okay, full-time I have 15,
Okay.
15 officers.
Okay, 15 officers.
And that's full-time.
Full-time, right. And they are, they are actually police officers.
Right, right.
Now, the part-time or the associate officers are?
Those are retired Omaha police officers that still maintain their state certification, which that also requires that they have to maintain the 20 hours of mandatory in-service training as mandated by the State Crime Commission.
Okay. And like I said, they are retired, but they are,
Yep.
true blue. Yep. Okay. One of the questions that I'd like to have somewhat talked about today is we do have their term ends approximately what time of the year? You know, they start in August and they end.
You're talking about the school year?
Yeah, school that the officer is working.
The full-time officers are there whenever school is in session. And so I believe anywhere from the middle of May to the first week of June, school lets out based on which school district that is.
And they do work, some work in the summertime at summer schools. Right,
we have them in the summer school. Again, if there's activities in those schools, i.e. summer school, those officers are in the schools as well.
Okay. And by looking at the data, generally they end at the end of June. For most, I'm not asking you to give me the exact.
Right, it's summer school. It goes from, usually the end, maybe even almost to the end of June, and I don't think they go past the 4th of July.
Yeah.
So that July month is pretty much free. But then school, this year I believe one of the school districts started like August 10th. Right. So there's a very small window of downtime for them.
Well, what I'm looking at is because I know Omaha, most of their summer schools are just 4 hours. So there's a part of the day that the officer has, I'm going to use the word, it's free from working in the schools. What I'm looking at is our fire, we've had some issues with people on fireworks, and the date for fireworks from June 25th to July 4th. And I'm seeing those as those dates are basically the people who do work for the city. They have time available during those days, evenings. Would I be wrong on that assumption?
Well, they would have time during the day. However, their shift, unless we would reassign them, they are selected by their contract and by a collective bargaining agreement. So we would have to request them to shift their hours to handle anything outside their normal assigned shift.
Yeah, and I do understand that contracts are involved. I'm just thinking, though, a number of people have issues about fireworks, and if they would see at least some of those police officers on duty in the evening, that would send a message that we are concerned about.
Contractually, we can't. If they work, say, 4 hours, they worked 8 to noon, we can't split their shift to have them come back and work evening hours. Contractually, we can't do that.
Yeah, that I understand.
All right.
So the rest of the day, they just what?
They'll answer radio calls. They'll go back out in the precincts and work other assignments, and so use them. I mean, they are used for help supplement uniform patrol during that time. It's also the time where we have College World Series, which takes a lot of our resources. Other events at the Quest Center. CenturyLink. I'm dating myself. CenturyLink. And then also uniform patrol. It's vacation time, so they'll supplement uniform patrol because of those officers that are assigned to districts taking their vacation. And so it's, they are utilized. We make sure every year that we utilize them to the best of our possibility to get the most out of them.
Right, and I understand. To me, that if we could somehow have a mindset during that 4 or 5 days that we could have some additional police officers involved with the issue, it would probably make the fireworks time a little bit more enjoyable for people.
Yeah. That's something we can always reevaluate. I mean, it would be one of those things. If we were to readjust their hours, some may voluntarily do that. Others may not want to, but we can always look at the options based on the overtime budget and maybe make some assignments that way as well.
Okay. So, well, then I'll look at it this way. Let's say that my June the 24th, I finished working for the schools. Then from till August, if I'm still resource officer, what do I do then? I mean, I know they have assignments.
Mm-hmm. They will, again, will supplement uniform patrol. We'll actually assign them to a specific precinct to handle calls for service. And a lot of times we'll have them assist with the nuisance unit, in any of their assignments that come down. So, I mean, it would not be inconceivable to put that option out there if they wanted to work evenings during that time period to adjust that.
But we're talking, what did you tell me, 15 officers?
15 officers, yeah.
Okay. I'm just throwing out that we have 15 officers. If somehow we could readjust some of that, that would make the fireworks season probably a little bit more acceptable to some people out there. That's just my perception.
Right.
I'm just, because we're taking a look at fireworks right now as our committee.
Sure, that's something we can throw out there and look at the feasibility of that. I mean, it's far enough ahead of time that we could say, hey, during this time frame, 3 or 4 officers or 5 officers, how many are available, are going to work evening hours to address those complaints.
Yeah. That would be appreciated. I think that would help resolve some of the issues. I'm just looking at the individuals involved. I know it's hard sometimes to change schedules.
Right.
But there's about a month, at least a month or so, that there's some flex time. And I do know they need to take vacations and that. I mean, I thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, just to clarify, the public hearings on all of the Omaha Public School contracts, which is 57, 58, and 59, the public hearing on each of those items.
57 is Miller.
Yeah.
So 58 and 59 are OPS.
Okay, so 57 is now closed, and Mr. Clerk, we're going to call up 58 and 59 at the same time, correct?
Yes, correct. 58 is ordinance to approve a contract between the city and Omaha Public Schools to provide, through its assignment, 1 uniformed police officer and a marked police cruiser to a number of schools. And 59 is ordinance to approve a contract to provide 11 associate school resource officers and marked police cruisers subject to availability.
Okay, the public hearings on item number 58, item number 59, begin at this time. Are there any proponents?
Captain Mike McGee, Omaha Police.
Any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 60, ordinance approving contract between the city and Westside Community Schools to provide through its assignment to uniformed police officers and marked police cars to premises the Westside High School and Westside Middle School.
Public hearing on agenda item number 60 begins at this time. Are there any proponents?
Again, Captain Mike McGee, Omaha Police.
Any other proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 61, ordinance to approve a redevelopment agreement which includes the purpose of the proposed redevelopment project for the general benefit and welfare of the city at large, wherein the city, with the Board of Regents, University of Nebraska, on behalf of its administrative unit, the University of Nebraska Med Center, through their joint effort, proposes the redevelopment of an approximate 3.8-acre area bounded by Emily Street on the north, 41st Street on the east, Leavenworth Street on the south, and 42nd Street on the west.
Public hearing on item number 61 begins at this time. Are there any proponents?
Yes, Mr. President, members of the council, Larry Jobin, 11440 West Center Road, appearing on behalf of the Med Center. This approval of this redevelopment agreement next week will pave the way for a $102 million development at the Med Center, known as the IXL building. We kind of went through all that on the redevelopment plan, so I'm really here just to answer questions. Also, I just wanted to thank the mayor's office for their support of this particular project, as well as the various departments within the city and then this council as well. Chris Jerem played an important role in that as well. So with that, here to answer any questions and go from there.
Are there any other proponents wishing to be heard? Any opponents wishing to be heard? And thank you, Mr. Jobin, but we all played an important role in that. So my thanks to my colleagues on this. Public hearing is closed.
Item 62, ordinance to amend section 23-177 by adding the employment classification entitled Project Matter Manager for the Parks Department.
Public hearing on item number 62 begins at this time. Are there any proponents? Any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Pursuant to City Council Rule 7C, the public hearing on agenda items 63 through 67 shall be held on the second reading.
Roll call.
Gurnett?
Yes.
Milton? Pauls?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Festerson?
Yes.
Mr. President, we stand adjourned at 2:32 p.m.
You know, we're going to have to hire this guy more often.